Welcome into the Analyst in the Armchair, an NFL podcast where one host is obsessed with stats and spreadsheets, and the other just really loves yelling at the TV on game day and has plenty of opinions. Together, Michelle and Nycole dive into player news, weekly matchups, and all the storylines you'll be talking about with your friends. Whether you're a hardcore or casual football fan, they've got something for you.
Welcome into the Analyst and the Armchair. We have smiles on our faces right now, but that was a brutal weekend for both of us.
Listen, it took a few days to get here. To get to being able to smile again, really.
I mean, on Saturday, you were scared of me. On Sunday, I was scared of you.
Yeah.
It was not fun to watch these games at all. Neither of our teams really showed up to play. I mean, your Texans defense showed up to play. Don't get me wrong.
They always do.
CJ Stroud, however, forgot it was game day. And then the 49ers, okay, everyone's being so nice to them, being like, well, they shouldn't have got here because they were injured.
She's mocking me because I said that about 7 minutes ago.
Yeah, and it's just like, okay, well, it could have been better than 41-6. They could have put in some effort.
Yeah.
We'll get to, there's a lot of things I was upset about that game. Apparently, you're allowed to call a timeout mid-play, 5 seconds into it.
There's a lot of venting going to happen here today, folks.
Yeah, so we're going to get to the head coach firings for the Bills. Wild.
Mm-hmm.
We got a new offensive coordinator for the Chargers. That's fun. And we'll talk about these teams that lost this weekend and the fallout that will come from that and what we expect from them next year. And then, of course, get into the conference championship games and our picks for that. So lots to get into today. Let's get into it. We have a few new head coaches already decided. The Giants, Falcons, and Dolphins have all made their decisions and hired very quickly. We got John Harbaugh going to the Giants.
We called it.
Yeah. I don't hate it. I mean, there's some people that are like, well, why would he go there? There's a lot of good openings. But the Giants, I'm sure, are paying him very handsomely.
Sure.
Yeah. And then they also gave him all this opportunity where they're like, you can have say in pretty much everything.
Yeah, I think it's a good move. I mean, they're such a young group. Like, their core is pretty young. You've got Jackson Dart, who shows a lot of promise. I know they didn't win a lot of games this year, but I think he shows a lot of promise. You've got Cam Scadaboo coming back. You've got, Malik Neighbors, right? Like, you've got these pieces. I think they have what they need, more or less. I think he'll just definitely help them out.
And they have a defensive line. I don't understand why their defense isn't better. But like, hopefully a better coach, an established coach. Like, I get it. Harbaugh couldn't get over the humps with Lamar Jackson and all that. They wanted to move on. But I like the hire for the Giants, and I like Harbaugh going there. I think it's a fine move.
I agree.
Now, Kevin Stefanski goes to the Falcons. And at first, because I know you don't love it, at first I was with you. And I was like, he's going to another team without a quarterback, right?
Right.
Michael Penix Jr. is probably better than any quarterback he's had outside of Baker Mayfield. But it's been not great for Penix he's only started 12 games though.
Right.
So hasn't even started a full season of games. But at least he now has actual offensive weapons that he can utilize, and Bijan being the key here.
Of course.
It is a pretty solid offensive line too. And then you have Drake London, a true wide receiver 1, and Kyle Pitts they can re-sign or franchise tag there. So he has things to work with, and they fixed up the defense a bit and that defensive line. So I don't hate it, but he might be in a situation again where he doesn't really have a quarterback unless they stick with Kirk Cousins. I don't know.
Yeah, this is a weird one to me. I feel like you're going from kind of disheveled to kind of disheveled. And if I'm a head coach going from one hot mess to another, I want a little better of a mess. And maybe this is, better than Cleveland. But obviously, offensively, it is. Defensively, it's a step in the wrong direction, right? So to me, it's kind of an even move, and I don't see the point in it, honestly.
Did you see Baker Mayfield's text yesterday or tweet?
No,
not text. So there is this reporter that said like Kevin Stefanski had a dumpster fire at quarterback in Cleveland. Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson failed, which started a chain reaction to 11 other starters, right? And then Baker Mayfield retweeted it and said, "Failed is quite the reach, pal. Still waiting on a text/call from him," meaning Stefanski, "after I got shipped off like a piece of garbage. Can't wait to see you twice a year, coach."
That's going to be a fun
That's
game.
going to be so fun. Twice a year they get to face each other.
Divisional
Yeah.
rivalries now, I guess.
So love that. I love Baker.
Oof, yeah, you do.
I love him. I can't believe the Steelers had a chance to go get him. And they were like, no, we're going to stick with Kenny Pickett.
Super Bowl winning.
Shut up. Every time I say Kenny Pickett, she says Super Bowl winning. Kenny Pickett.
He has a much more recent Super Bowl win than
I get it. Than the
Steelers.
Steelers. I
Yeah,
get it.
just
And he
saying.
did so much for that team. So much for the Eagles. Jeff Halfley goes to the Dolphins. That's my feeling on this. I don't.
I feel the same. I mean, you're going from an offensive-minded head coach in Mike McDaniel to a defensive, thoughtful coach who was just with the Packers, who honestly looked pretty bad this year without Micah Parsons, who they just got this year. So this is a weird one too for me. I guess it'll be interesting to see if they just needed to spice it up and do something totally different in Miami to see, what they've got going on there.
And that's typically what happens, right? If you have a defensive-minded coach and they failed, you go to offense, and they had an offensive-minded coach, so they go to defense. It's just, I mean, Halfley, we don't know how he'll be as a head coach, but as DC, it's not like he was dominant. Again, like you said, they were really good with Parsons, but it's not like in 2024 the Packers defense was dominant, and then as soon as he lost Parsons this year, it all fell apart.
Right.
And then, but maybe the Dolphins just weren't an exciting landing spot for any head coach, right?
Sure.
Because they are paying Tua $50 million a year, but then I also don't want Tua. Tyreek Hill is maybe done for his NFL career, but I feel like he's definitely done with the Dolphins. He only has one more year on his contract. He already wanted out and his knee's destroyed. And then Waddle can't stay healthy to save his life. And they shipped out their best pieces on defense this year in trade. So it's like, this is a full rebuild, maybe.
I mean, you've got Devon Achane, who is going to hang out just like Justin Jefferson did this year in Minnesota, right? Like this really great talent that's just going to be there.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting one for sure.
Mike McDaniel went to the Chargers.
Sure did.
He sure did. I like that a lot. We're bringing up Achane, how good he was for fantasy purposes. Marion Hampton, I'm so excited for.
Very good call.
Yeah, really excited for him next year, second year running back. And then, I mean, we'll see if Herbert can, with a more creative coach, can finally get it done.
Yeah, I mean, let's see if he can wake something in Justin Herbert to win some a playoff game. Not even some, win one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah.
And then I said 3 coaches. There's actually 4. Robert Saleh to the Titans. It's so Saleh. I feel like teams, maybe I was overrating him.
Okay.
Because I thought he could have got a really good position either with the Bills or the Ravens or the Steelers, get into these really good teams. And he goes to the Titans. It's like, once you already found once at head coach, your second stint is really your last shot here.
Mm-hmm.
And you're putting everything on the Titans and Cam Ward and really no defense.
Well, and to me, it's like, why didn't you just go back to the Jets, who have nothing, right? What a weird choice. Also, I would have rather, and granted, I don't know the difference in salaries, right? But I would rather stay with the 49ers who've got and
they're paying him well, I believe.
Won games without their main 2 defensive guys. I'd rather stay there and see what we can do next year than go to the Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weird choice. Robert Saleh. I do not like it.
Yeah. If he felt like, okay, these other teams are not giving me a shot, I'm just going to take the Titans. I would have, if I were him, I would have been like, okay, let me stay another year with the 49ers, get my pieces back and try to go get a better role next year.
Yeah.
It seems silly to me, but maybe it'll work out. Who knows? And then the Bills, the last piece of news here I want to get to, the Bills move on to Sean McDermott after that divisional round loss. And it's not really a huge shocker. He was on the hot seat, but with this team always making the playoffs with McDermott, and it's not like Mike Tomlin where they get destroyed in the wild card round. They win a playoff game every year under McDermott, at least one, right? And the last 3 years, they got kicked out of these playoffs in either the divisional round or the championship game by 3 points.
Wow.
So these are close games.
Yeah.
But that also can fall in coaching, that these close games you can't
close
out. Yeah.
Right.
And do you know Josh Allen has still never won a game in his career in overtime? 0-7 in overtime in his career.
Wow. So you just got to get him to overtime, I guess.
Yeah.
Huh. That's so weird.
Yeah.
What a random
And that can
fun
also
stat.
fall on the coach not being able to win in overtime.
Sure. Unless your quarterback throws, 4 interceptions.
He had 2 fumbles. I don't think did he throw an interception? Oh, well, that Brandon Cooks one was not an interception.
Okay.
Brandon Cooks either should have caught it.
Well, they need
or-
to add that stat. They need to add that stat line.
It was a perfect throw. You cannot.
Well, that's
say
what I'm
otherwise.
saying. Like, it's not, I don't think it's fair to be like, to the quarterback's credit, right? Like, there are balls that straight up go in a guy's hand and they do not catch it and it goes against the quarterback. I do think we need to add some kind of stat
An
or
error,
what
just
have
like
you,
MLB, like an error
Right.
on the wide
on
receiver.
the wide receiver.
which
Yeah.
they have drops. So, like, I feel
Like, why would it count against? Yeah. Because if there's, like people are saying, well, that was, AWS or whatever the heck, like that was an 80% catchable ball, right? So
Next
like,
gen stats, what I work with
yeah.
all day, every day.
yeah. So like, why can't they do that and not go against the quarterback? But
Yeah, I don't
I
understand.
digress. Anyway, I think this one was, I don't know how I feel about it, honestly.
I feel like Sean McDermott's a good coach.
Sure. Yes.
And he should land somewhere. As a Steelers fan, I'll take him, right? But also at the same time, I understand the Bills having to make a change, because how do you go into next year
yes.
with it's been so many years now where you just can't get to the Super Bowl? What's your plan? What are you saying to the team to get them inspired? Like, it's just going to be the same thing again. It's not going to work. Like, it's just not working.
Yeah.
It's not getting there. So I get why they moved on and they need to try something new, because I don't get how you go into this offseason with the same coach and the same everything and say it's going to be different. Like, what's going to be different? How are you going to inspire these players?
They have to figure out who's the Josh Allen whisperer, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't Sean.
And I mean, Josh Allen was amazing with Sean McDermott. This is the issue. This is my biggest issue when it comes to Sean McDermott, right? So Sean McDermott's the defensive-minded head coach. That's his side of the ball. The Bills defense under McDermott allowed 33 points per game in the Bills' 6 playoff losses since 2020.
It's way too much.
Way too much. Like,
Yeah.
over 400 total yards per game. So it's when they're losing these games, I get it. Josh Allen made some mistakes in this last game. They still put up 30 points, though. You should be able to win a game when you put up 30 points.
I agree.
And you
with
let the Broncos put up 33 or whatever it was. Opposing starting quarterbacks against Josh Allen in the playoffs in his career averaged 32 points per game. They have 19 touchdowns, so 2 giveaways, 113 passer rating.
Wow.
I don't know what else you do. So
I don't know.
I think they needed to move on.
Yeah. I think just for
unfortunately.
the sake of like a change,
Yeah.
right, in the locker room.
Yeah.
All
right. That is it for our coaching news. We're going to go vent a little bit now about the 49ers, about the Texans. But we're going to give some positive vibes about the Bears. They lost, but I mean, you have to be pretty happy as a Bears fan
Totally.
this year. And then we'll get into our conference championship picks right after that.
Between the 20s.
Are you ready to let all your anger out?
I mean, what I have left, yes.
Should I let the 49ers anger out first? There's not really a lot of 49ers anger. I'm more angry about how the whole game went. Yes. And the refs.
Do you mean the whole first half?
Yeah. I mean, I get it. It's 41-6. One stupid timeout doesn't change. Like, they could have came back, but it really did put them in a terrible spot to start, and then it just fell apart, right? But again, I just need someone to explain how Brock Purdy can be back in the pocket for 5 seconds, scrambling around, already throws the ball, and then you blow the whistle and say they called a timeout. That's not a thing. It's not a thing.
Well, you and Bills fans are both very upset with the officiating this weekend.
Well, yeah.
That's for sure.
Yes. The Bills fans have a real reason to be upset with the officiating. That was garbage. Not even like, okay, if it was an interception, it was a close call, whatever. And I do think it was different than that Rams game with the Devontae Adams catch. Adams had the control of the ball longer, whatever. But the way that they called pass interference in overtime, when they were not calling it at all in the regulation, and the way that the Bills receiver got mauled at the end of the game. And I honestly was like, okay, they haven't been calling it all game. That's fine. You don't ruin a game like that. And then they go and ruin the game in overtime.
They turned around and did it. Yep.
Gosh, like multiple times. It was the officiating overall. Yeah, not great. But let's talk about the 49ers. They got killed. Fine. We can be happy they made it this far. Nick Bosa, Nycole Williams, tore ACL. toward their ACLs. They have to come back, though, off of those next year. That's a concern. Fred Warner is going to be coming off a broken ankle. Brandon Ayuk is officially done with the team. Not officially, but they announced today, like they have not heard from Ayuk in months. He will not be playing for them anymore. Ricky Pearsall needs to figure out a way to stay healthy. Juwan Jennings is a free agent. And I think he's going to get paid way too much I don't think the 49ers should pay him. It's just too much for his worth. Trent Williams will be 38 years old in July. Pretty much their only good offensive lineman. McCaffrey will be 30 years old in June and is coming off a 400 touch season. I have one piece of good news.
Okay.
George Kittle. He did tear his Achilles in the wild card round. Not great, but he had a surgery. And from him, his exact quote was, he's doing fantastic. The surgery went really well. It was a clean tear. They didn't have to drill into my heel. There's more blood flow, which takes some time off the recovery, puts me in a really good mood, excited about that. And then other doctors chimed in and said that apparently the Achilles tear that he suffered was higher up and not lower. So they didn't have to use anchors. And they actually expect that he could be back by week 1.
Wow.
That would be insanely important because Kittle is not only their best receiver on the team and so important for Purdy, he's also an amazing run blocker, and their running game is incredibly different without Kittle. So that's good news, but they have a lot of things to overcome this upcoming season.
Well, and not to mention, I mean, and I know you hate this, but they had a great season. They really, really did. I mean, they were so injured. Like think back, week 4, Michelle. You would not have said they did what they did. Okay.
As soon as Bosa went down and Purdy was already missing half a season, like
that's right. So you and Stats were like, this is terrible. It could not be. Yeah. And you know what? They overcame. Now, I do think CMC carrying the team on his back all year is not going to bode well for him next year. No, it's just not. Unless he goes and lays on a beach for 4 months and doesn't do anything, which I highly doubt.
He said it was the hardest year of his life.
Oh, of course it was, because he was carrying about 52 men on his back. Yeah. So yeah, it was. But yeah, I think there's a lot that needs to be talked about in San Francisco this offseason.
Yeah. Now, if you are a 49ers fan, I do a 49ers show on Fridays, and I'm going to come up with a 10-step plan how to fix the 49ers before 2026. So do not miss that. It will be a fun episode. It's over at the Gold Standard, the Gold Diggers podcast on Friday. Now, let's talk about your Texans.
And I have been dreading this. I want you to know.
We have to focus on CJ Stroud.
Dreading.
Because they have to figure out, do they want to stick with Stroud or do they need a new quarterback? Let me give you Stroud's stats in the divisional round loss. And if he could just have been a bad quarterback, I think they win the game. But he was atrocious. So he completed just 43% of his passes. He averaged just 4.5 yards per pass attempt. He did throw a touchdown, yay him, but 4 interceptions. And that's after them winning in the wild card round, despite him, right? He had 3 giveaways in that game at Pittsburgh, but it didn't matter because the Steelers offense couldn't do anything. Talk about CJ Stroud. What would you do if you were the Texans? Would you keep him? What would happen here?
Listen, I was having a lot of come to Jesus meetings during this game. Okay. Went and watched it with my grandma, we had a blast, but not really because we were so sad. But
I had
the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, do you put in Davis Mills? Like, this is not just like, he didn't just start throwing turnovers this game. He did it all of last game. And we, thank goodness, we're playing, no offense, the Steelers, whose offense just couldn't do anything. And our defense is what it is, right?
What's infuriating is that the Patriots offense still, for the majority of the game, couldn't do anything.
They weren't that good. Like, the score did not represent them and how they played, because they did not play well against our defense. They had like 2, I think they deserved 2 of the touchdowns they got. Yeah. The other ones were literally because of CJ. Yeah. Like, he had more touchdowns for the Patriots than he did for the Texans.
Again, I think like he could have had a pretty bad day overall and they still would have won, but because he had such a miserable day.
And so during the game, I'm like, okay, do you do it? Right? Like, do you pull him? Right? Like, let him get into the locker room. And then if I'm D'Amico or whoever, I'd walk up to him and say, what do you want to do? because we were down by 11 at half. It was still manageable.
They weren't down by 11 and a half. Weren't they down by like 3 or something?
No,
Oh.
we're down by 11.
Oh.
Because it was 21-10.
Hmm.
So that's 11 points. So, I really did. And then they didn't do it, obviously. And all the guys, the whole team was like, this is our guy, whatever. Okay, fine. So after some days of reflecting, I'm like, okay, like to me, it's like, you have to win this game. You need to do whatever you need to do to win this game. Because then guess what? You're walking to the Super Bowl, okay, if you win that game, which I think made it more devastating to me. Anyway.
Because you already knew Bo Nix.
Because we already knew Bo Nix is out.
Yeah.
And our defense, I mean, I knew if we can beat the Patriots, we are walking to the Super Bowl, and I would just lose my whole soul. And so it was that, more devastating. And then I take a step back. I'm like, okay, CJ, great rookie season, has been meh the last two. He and D'Amico did, as a first head coach quarterback duo, made it to the playoffs their first 3 seasons together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't want to overshadow that because he had 2 atrocious games, right? And a couple seasons that were fine, right? I think the problem I'm having is, are we going to settle for good when we could be great? I don't know what great is. I don't know who that is, right?
Yeah.
But we have to make a real decision here of are we going to pay this man?
You definitely can't pay him, right? I don't think. You don't have to pay him yet. I don't think he can have any way of saying I deserve to get paid right now.
Sure.
Rookie season, great. Last 2 years, mediocre at best, right? It was mediocre 2 years and then atrocious playoffs. So it's hard. And he was atrocious in the divisional round last year too.
Yes.
So,
well, and I wonder too, I mean, Schultz got hurt. Nico was out, right? There were other factors. I hate to just say he was atrocious. I mean, he was. I'm not denying that at all. But
I do wonder if he had Collins or Schultz.
If we
could
had
he have
Collins,
just been okay?
Right. Could we have just had the middle of the field and got 5 yards, 5 yards, 5 yards, right? Woody Marks had 17 yards rushing.
What?
That makes it really difficult for your quarterback.
Yeah. Oh, they desperately need a different run game, right? They cannot go into next year with Woody Marks as their starter. Nick Chubb's a free agent. Fine, let him go. He's old.
Sure.
But they need to figure out a better running back. They need and they need to fix up their offensive line for sure. What about trading for Kyler Murray? He's very silent.
Because I feel offended.
Why?
Because you don't like Kyler Murray. And
I like him a lot more than CJ Stroud.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not ready to say, as a Texans fan, I'm done with CJ Stroud.
Okay.
Now, had he had a running back 1 this year, had we had Tank Dell, right? Had we had a couple key pieces and this was still the outcome, I think I could say I'm over it. I hate to say it, but I think I need 1 more year.
Okay. Well, what's really nice about the Texans, they don't have very many free agents they have to worry about. It's like Sheldon Rankins, Christian Kirk, Nick Chubb, Ed Ingram. These are guys either they could probably resign pretty easily or let go and figure out. They did already lock up Jalen Petrie this April. I didn't realize that. That's amazing. 3 years, $39 million. He would have been way more expensive this offseason. So very smart by them.
I love him.
They already locked up Derek Stingley. So they're set for a little bit on defense here. They just got to figure out their offense. Now, let's move to this Bears loss. Most insane play ever to bring the game into overtime by Caleb Williams. That was wild. And then they end up losing in overtime. But Bears fans should be so happy.
Have to be.
They have to be. I get it. Heartbreaking loss. You were right there in overtime. You could have made the championship. But under Ben Johnson, it's his first year. Clearly an upgrade. He fixed up that offense. Caleb Williams looked much better in his second season. Still inconsistencies. They need to work on that, right? Can't be just fourth quarter comebacks. But won the NFC North, 11-6 record, second seed in the NFC playoffs, won a playoff game. There's nothing to be upset with if you're a Bears fan.
Listen, this was probably the most surprising team this year to do so well. I know the Colts started off really hot had some injuries. Daniel Jones went out, so we don't know what would have happened to them. But I think the Bears were more well-rounded than the Colts anyway. So yeah, I think the most surprising team to come out of this season. And like you said, I mean, if I'm a Bears fan, I am really stoked for the next few years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Bears and Patriots, most surprising this year.
Well,
but
that's too soon.
Let's get into this Patriots game. We'll get into these two games. I got the Patriots versus the Broncos. I cannot think of a worse AFC championship in a really, really long time. Now, if Bo Nix was playing, fine. It'd be fun. Jarrett Stidham versus, I don't care. I don't care. And having the Patriots, it's easy to root for these Patriots, but it's hard to get out of your brain that the Patriots were just a dynasty and they just finished this dynasty so recently that already getting back to the Super Bowl, come on.
It's infuriating, quite frankly.
Yeah. And then if it's the Broncos, I don't want to watch Jarrett Stidham in a Super Bowl. I'm sorry, Stidham. All right. I barely would have wanted to watch Bo Nix. He's boring enough. I don't want to watch Jarrett Stidham in a Super Bowl.
I don't think you'll have to.
Okay. Well, so we have to watch this game. We're both going to pick the Patriots, and it's pretty easy. Why? Because the Broncos right now are going with a guy who has not thrown a pass in the NFL in over 700 days. So he last threw a pass in week 18, 2023. He's going to be making his first start this season, obviously, since he hasn't done it. But quarterbacks making their first start of a season in a playoff game are 1-7 since 1950. The Patriots defense has been very, very good in the playoffs. So with that said, I just don't think Stidham's going to do all that much.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not. They're going to run the ball a ton, right? Because that feels more safe.
Harvey.
So I think, but here's the problem, right? You want to try to go to a run game because that's quote unquote more safe. The Patriots defense the last 2 weeks, Justin Herbert was the lead rusher for the Chargers with 57 yards. And then last week, I already mentioned it earlier, Woody Marks, lead rusher for the Texans with 17 yards.
That's so bad.
I know. So I just think you're going to try to run the ball. They don't let you really run the ball. And so, then they play last week, the Broncos, right? Who was their lead rusher? Take a guess. Bo Nix with how many yards do you think against the Bills?
47.
29 against the Bills. Okay. So they're just not getting anywhere. Okay. Against this Patriots defense. So, I mean, this game obviously I think has way more to do with the Patriots than it does the Broncos than the Patriots, because I don't think the Patriots and I hate to say it because I'm a Texans fan, so I sound biased, but had CJ not turned the ball over, I'm not saying he scores, right? I'm not saying he throws touchdowns. Had he not turned the ball over, I really, really wonder what that game would have looked like.
I think the Texans would have won.
So for that reason, I mean, yes, the Patriots will win this game, but I don't feel good about it. And they're going to go to the Super Bowl and lose against, it doesn't matter who.
I will say, to give the Broncos some hope here, because we keep saying the Patriots will just walk in. I mean, basically, the Texans did not have a quarterback last week, right? That's what we can say. Jarrett Stidham cannot do worse than CJ Stroud played last week. He cannot. And again, I think Stidham could do better than Stroud played last week, because that's not a really high bar to hit. And what we're saying is if Stroud just didn't mess up all those times, they would have won the game if they just had a game manager, right? Against the Patriots.
Sure. The
Broncos defense is comparable to the Texans. The Broncos have an amazing defense. What are you talking about?
Okay.
What are you talking about?
I don't think I think comparable is too generous, honestly.
Well, they have an amazing pass rush.
You have the Texans who are elite, and then you have the Seahawks and Denver who are really good.
Maybe. I mean, the Broncos are really, really good.
Would you rather have the Texans or the Broncos?
I would rather have the
defense?
Texans.
Well, then that answers my question.
But the Broncos are really, really good. They led the league in sacks this year. They're going to get after Drake May. And Drake May took a ton of sacks this season, fourth most in the league. And he's taken 10 sacks in the 2 playoff games this year. 4 more than any other quarterback in the playoffs this season. So he's going to get sacked, right? It's going to happen. The thing is, it doesn't really matter when May gets sacked because he doesn't make mistakes in that situation. He doesn't make stupid errors, right? And
Except fumbling the ball, I guess.
I
I mean,
mean,
he had 2 last week against the Texans, I'm pretty sure.
yeah. Well, that's what the Broncos are going to have to do.
Right.
Make him make mistakes. So May has already faced 2 of the top 3 sack defenses this year. It was the Browns and the Falcons. He was sacked 6 times in both of those games. So 12 total sacks.
Jeez.
It didn't matter. He won both of those games. He averaged a 70 completion percentage, over 270 passing yards per game, over 10 passing yards per attempt, which is an insane number, 118 passer rating, won both games, right? So just getting to him isn't going to be enough. They need to make him make mistakes. And if they can, like the Texans defense did last week, I do think they can win as long as Stidham isn't as bad as Stroud.
Yeah. I mean, it's not 100% and 0%, right?
Yeah.
It's probably, to me, it's 80-20. The Broncos don't have no chance, but they have about a 20% chance, in my opinion.
The Patriots are 4.5-point favorites. And we both like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's move on to this Rams Seahawks game. Much better game. Much more interesting game. I think it's going to be very, very close. You do not. You seem very, very confident that the Seahawks will win this game. I'm going to pick the Rams. I do not feel confident, though.
Tell people, can you just do something for me?
Oh, no, don't do this to me.
Can you just, you feel so confident, right?
I just said I don't feel confident.
Okay. What was your record last week picking the games for the 4 games that happened? What was your record?
I got all 4 wrong.
For anybody doing math, that's 0-4. 0-4.
Yeah.
0-4.
Yeah. Yep. I got all 4 wrong. All right.
Just so we're clear. Okay,
I
continue.
made you take the Seahawks last week over the 49ers. You wanted to
No,
take the
you
49ers.
didn't.
Yeah.
No, I think for your heart, I wanted to just say the 49ers have a chance, but I knew they did not.
Anyways. Yeah, I was terrible
So
last
tell
week.
me why the Rams are going to win this game, Michelle.
Because this is the thing. Are the Seahawks going to start with a kickoff return touchdown?
No.
And then on the next drive, are they going to stop the Rams on 4th down and close to the end zone? And because they got a timeout allowed to them 5 seconds in, is this all going to happen? Right?
Mhm.
Because the thing is, Sam Darnold has not been put under any pressure. And I'm not talking about pass rush at all. These last 2 games have been both against the 49ers. Both games, they had the lead. There was no mental pressure on him at all. And especially in this game, it was never close. And Sam Darnold, when there is no mental pressure on him, he's a good quarterback. I can say that. Like, I hate Sam Darnold because anytime he has to be clutch or anytime there's a little bit of pressure on him, he literally falls apart. And that's just not a quarterback I would want on my team. But when you put no pressure on him, yeah, he's a good thrower. He can come up with some really good plays, right? So as long as the Rams do not come out falling apart and fall down by 20 points in this game, or even like they have to just come out and do their thing and put some pressure on Sam Darnold. The 2 games against Darnold had against the Rams this year, he had a gazillion turnovers, right? They were both close games. They did win the one in overtime in week 16, 38-37, but he threw 2 interceptions in that game, and the Seahawks had to come back because of those mistakes.
Mhm.
In week 11, they lost by only 2 points, the Seahawks, and Darnold in that game had 4 interceptions, 0 touchdowns. Chris Shula, the Rams defensive coordinator, he knows how to play against Sam Darnold. He comes after him. Darnold's numbers are atrocious against him. So as long as they don't get him super comfortable like the 49ers did, I think Darnold's going to make a lot of mistakes. And Charbonnet goes down with the ACL tear. Kenneth Walker had a great game last week, but he can be very inconsistent, right? So the run game might not be as good. And I just think the Rams with Stafford and their running game are just safer this week.
Which is so funny because I feel the exact opposite. I think the Seahawks will destroy the rush, so much so Matthew Stafford has to throw the ball and he will make mistakes.
Okay.
The Rams the last 2 weeks only won by 3 points in both games, against Carolina week 1 and Chicago last week in the overtime game.
Yeah.
Right? Again, we've talked all season long. How long can these quarterbacks go with winning at the very last minute, what have you? I think, it's in Seattle. I think that's a huge advantage for the Seahawks. I really do. They're going to destroy the rush. I mean, I really believe that. Do you know how much they limited CMC so much the last 2 games they played, he had under 40 yards in both games rushing.
Both. He
So
had no rushing attempts, but yeah.
So it's like, I mean, if you can't even you can't even attempt, you can't even get there,
But
right?
they'll be able to.
Okay. I love when you're like so confident about stuff and then it's like so bad. Like in a week, I can't wait to like replay this clip and be
Okay.
like, she was so confident. So I think it's gonna force the Rams to be one dimensional and pass the ball, right? Matthew Stafford, as of late, has thrown more interceptions. Devontae Adams did not look good last week. He didn't. So what's happening there? I'm not sure. So for the Seahawks, you really just have to cover Puka. I mean, really and truly. So, I just
Kobe
think
Parkinson has been a killer lately.
he's been good. I'm not saying this is like a, knock out of the park. Seattle's going to win by 2 touchdowns or anything, but I do feel pretty confident that they're going to the Super Bowl.
So then we get what if we get a Sam Darnold, Jarrett Stidham Super Bowl? It will be the lowest watched Super Bowl of all time.
I already feel like this is probably like, okay, after last week, have you ever watched a show and like you love this show? Like you're like, I mean, we have streaming now, but like you're like so excited the next episode's going to come out on whatever day. And then you watch the episode and you're like into it. You're like 3 seasons in, right? And then they just like kill off your favorite character.
Yeah.
And like you have to decide, like, am I going to keep watching this show or not? That's how I feel about football right now.
When Lexi and McSteamy died, I was like over Grey's Anatomy.
Oh my!
I was like, it's done.
That's such a good example.
Yeah,
such a good example. It's like, why am I even here? Yeah. That's how I feel about football right now and the state that we're in with the teams that are still left.
Imagine Bills Patriots AFC Championship. How much more exciting would that be? And then we could root for the Bills to win. Root for Bills Rams Super Bowl. Like you're talking about a totally different excitement around the NFL. But
I'm offended you didn't say Texans, but okay. Whatever.
Our best, get right now, I guess, would be Rams Patriots. And
it has to be.
Yeah,
it has to be. So.
All right, that is it for our game picks. So we are both picking the Patriots. You're picking the Seahawks. I'm picking the Rams. But we're going to give you our favorite bet of this weekend. And Nycole feels very strong about her picks here. So we'll get into that right now.
2-minute warning.
All right, Nycole, give me your favorite bet of the conference championship weekend.
Okay, I'm actually doing 2. So you can pick, you can do both, whatever
your both. Parlay it up.
Heart desires. Yeah. I feel kind of how Michelle felt so confident that the Steelers were going to beat the Texans. That's how confident I feel about these picks. Okay.
That's not a good example.
It's a great example.
I failed miserably.
No, but for like 2 weeks, you were just like, I just know it. I know the Steelers. I just know. Like, that's how confident I am right now. Okay, you ready? So I feel super confident that both these teams are going to cover the spread. Okay. Seahawks, they're minus 2.5 points. And I think against the Rams, a field goal could be the difference. And there you go. Right. I think it'll be more than that. But the other one, Patriots, minus 4.5. Again, I think they will have no chance, the Broncos, to win this game. I'm taking Patriots at least a touchdown to win the game. So there you go.
Parlay it up, make some money. I'm going to go Zach Allen, the Broncos edge rusher there, to get a sack, which he's not had a full sack in quite a long time, but plus 154 odds. He led the NFL in quarterback hits this year. He had a half a sack in that game last week. The thing is, I already brought up Drake May's been sacked 10 times. In the playoffs, right? He was sacked a ton in the regular season, 10 times already in 2 playoff games. And what I love about Zach Allen specifically, right? Because you could go Nick Bonito, but the odds are lower, so you won't make as much money. You got Will Campbell and Jared Wilson as the left tackle and left guard for the Patriots. Well, Zach Allen's going to be lining up against Jared Wilson a lot in this game. And Wilson allowed the highest sack rate among all left guards in the NFL this season. So I think Allen's going to get at least a sack in this game. I like the plus 154 odds.
Love it.
Cool. That's it. So like we're gonna have to put in bets to enjoy these games, right?
That'll be the only reason I'm watching. Yeah. Try to make some money.
Especially this Broncos one. So go put those in. That is it for today's episode. We'll be back next week to talk about, what happened in these games, give you a little bit of the Super Bowl, but we have 2 weeks. We'll have a week in between before the Super Bowl. Please let it not be Sam Darnold, Jarrett Stidham. Please. All right. We'll talk to you next week. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to The Analyst in the Armchair. Don't forget to subscribe, follow us on socials, leave us a review, and comment to let us know what you'd like to hear next time.